over there in Great Britain, they have a new prime minister, and her name is Liz Truss. And she is, believe it or not, she is worse on climate change than Boris Johnson, if you can imagine that. In her first couple of weeks in office, she told King Charles he couldn't attend the UN climate conference in Egypt next month. Then she lifted the nation's ban on fracking and granted 130 new licenses for oil and gas drilling in the North Sea. She's also come out against more solar panels, saying solar panels should not be taking up valuable farmland. She wants more livestock and fewer solar panels. I guess that's out of professional courtesy. She wants to show solidarity with other farting cows like herself. So what do you do? What do you do when you have leaders like Liz Truss? Well, you do this. Milk pours. Several members of Animal Rebellion in Scotland over the weekend staged a milk pour by seizing several gallons of milk in a supermarket and pouring it on the floor, encouraging more milk pours throughout the world, and to encourage people to switch to a plant-based diet, said one protester. I don't know, she looks like she's 18. She says, "We tried democracy and it just didn't work. We tried democracy and it just didn't work." What do you do? What do you do if your government is run by murderous grifters like Liz Truss? Murderous grifters who won't just ignore climate catastrophe, but they make it worse. Britain's conservative government earlier this year passed new laws. We talked about this. They passed new laws making it easier for the police to arrest protesters. But that is not preventing Just Stop Oil activists in Great Britain, who are now entering their 17th day of protests in England. 28 Just Stop Oil activists were arrested in London on Friday. An additional 26 were arrested on Saturday after they blocked traffic in East London by gluing their bodies to the street. 2 Just Stop Oil activists were arrested on Friday inside London's National Gallery after they hurled a cup of tomato soup at Vincent van Gogh's painting of sunflowers. That painting, worth close to $90 million, luckily was covered in protective glass, which was removed, and then with the tomato soup splayed all over it, sold at auction for £3 million. They sold the glass with the tomato soup on it for £3 million. The 2 activists threw the can of tomato soup and then glued themselves to the wall. Watch, listen, and learn.
What is worth more, art or life? Is it worth more than food? Worth more than justice? Are you more concerned about the protection of a painting or the protection of our planet and people? The cost of living crisis is part of the cost of oil crisis. Fuel is unaffordable to millions of cold, hungry families. They can't even afford to heat a tin of soup. Meanwhile, crops are failing. Millions of people are dying in monsoons, wildfires, and severe drought. We cannot afford new oil and gas. It is going to take everything we know and love.
I believe the term for them would be heroes. I think that's what you call them, right? Those just say no to oil and oil paintings. They are right. And on Monday, the 2 women, barely 20, pleaded not guilty and were released on bail. In England, the Home Secretary is in charge of security. That's what the Home Secretary is, keeping people safe. That's what the Home Secretary is. Her name is Suella Braverman. She's the Home Secretary, and she said today that there is no greater threat to the security of her nation. This is in response to the ongoing protests. The head of the Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, said today that there is no greater threat to the security of England than that posed by the increasing grip the oil companies have on her country's conservative leadership. The Home Secretary gave British Petroleum and Exxon exactly 5 years to shut down all operations in the North Sea or face asset forfeiture and life imprisonment for their senior management. Then the Home Secretary lifted her skirt, pulled a salami from her cheeks, and proceeded to dip that salami in George Ezra's bong water and feed it to a squirrel. I'm sorry, I mispronounced that entire paragraph. Secretary Braverman did what any conservative Home Secretary bought and paid for by the oil companies would do. She blamed the protesters. The protesters are worse than the oil companies. She called them guerrillas. Today, Home Secretary Braverman said if these protesters think they're above the law, they're sorely mistaken. You have to destroy the planet to be above the law in Great Britain. The bad people in all this are the peaceful protesters. Home Secretary Braverman, who works part-time as a detachable nozzle, injecting vinegar and water during vaginal and or anal lavages, said today, we have given our police greater powers to tackle seriously disruptive protests through our police. She cited the Police Crime Sentencing and Courts Act, but then added that it was watered down by the House of Lords. She wants a new bill that will give more power to the police so they can act proactively against climate catastrophe protesters. See, climate catastrophe just doesn't cause inflation and kill us. It destroys the thing that conservatives say they're so much in favor of: freedom and liberty. It's almost as though conservatives are completely full of shit.